We're on Shabbat Perek Zayin, Mishnah Gimel, third Mishnah in the 7th chapter of Shabbat. So we learned actually in two Mishnah ago, the first Mishnah in Perek Zayin, Klal Amu b'Shabbat. They made a great rule about Shabbat. So based on that style, our Mishnah is going to use the same style. Let's say something totally unrelated to general laws of Shabbat. But it's now going to turn to our attention back to hotza'ah mirshut l'reshut. The Mishnah gives an inordinate amount of attention to this idea of carrying things from one reshut to another. We did it with regard to like amulets and wearing. What can an animal wear? What can an animal not wear? What can people wear? Men and women and, all kinds of different costumes or whatever. Now we're going to deal with, like in great depth, the next 4 chapters almost, we're going to deal with how much of this and how much of that can a person or can't a person carry from one reshut to another. Od klal acher amud. The Rabbi Chazal said another great rule. Kol hakasher lahatzniya umatzniim kamau v'hotziu b'Shabbat chayav alav chatat. If something is kasher lahatzniya, if there's enough of a quantity that it's enough for a person lahatzniya to save, umatzniim kamau, and people save a similar amount that people, you know what I'm saying? Let's say I have, baking soda. How much baking soda would you have to have that you would save it? So for us, like, if you had a quarter tablespoon of baking soda, would you save it? Or would you throw it away? You're like, what am I going to do with it? So that's what the Mishnah says. If it's kasher latzniya, it's savable. Umatzniim kamo, and people save that quantity, then vehotziohu b'Shabbat, and you carried it, you transferred it on Shabbat, then chayav alav chatat. Then if a person transfers it from Reshut HaYachid to Reshut HaRabim, or the other way around, you're chayav chatat. But v'chol she'eino kasher lahatzniya, if it's not a quantity that's enough for a person to save, ve'ein matzniim kamohu, and people don't save that amount, v'hotzio b'Shabbat, and you did take it out on Shabbat, you transferred it, you said that you decided I want to save it, you had a quarter teaspoon of, I'm just throwing this out, I don't know if this is a good example, but a baking powder, or whatever. Eino chayav ela masnio. Then only the normal people, if somebody says, I want to save this baking soda because I need it, or this baking powder, I use the baking powder, I'm going to save it, then he's chayav chatat because he intentionally carried it from reshut to reshut. But a normal person who doesn't really care about it, and he carried it unintentionally, he didn't really care about it, he knew it's usher to carry. And he knew it was Shabbat. But nobody cares about this amount. Eino chayav ela hamatzniya. Only the person who wants to save it. But for someone else, adam acher, anybody who doesn't want to save it, eino chayav alav. You're not chayav chatat. Clearly, midrabanan, you're not allowed to carry any quantity. But midoraita, you're only chayav if it's a quantity of this item, of any item that a person would actually want to save. If you don't want to save it, you're not chayav. Very short Mishnah. We'll stop here. If you have comments or questions, as always, feel free to contact me at ourspolter@gmail.com. I'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.